shake my head at myself sometimes. I'm so bad about starting new projects and then not finishing them. As evidenced by 2 single fingerless gloves. Why did I do this? Very emo. Hello and welcome to my bedroom floor. Today I just wanted to talk a little bit about yarn, go through my yarn stash because that needs to be organized, and then also talk about some of the works in progress that I have, both knitting and crochet. So I used to keep all of my yarn in a plastic bin underneath the bed, but I recently got a new bed and it has drawers. So this first drawer here is where I keep all of my yarn, and it's kind of a gigantic mess right now. So one thing I wanted to do today was to go through and organize it. And I think eventually I do want to get boxes or dividers or something to actually organize it properly. But I think even as it is right now, I could at least make things look a little bit better and tidier. So that's one thing for my to-do list today. And as I go through the yarn, I'll just kind of walk you through what I have. So I have this drawer, and then I also have a box that I dragged over from the other room that has a little bit of yarn in it as well, though this is mostly whips. So I'll just bring you a little bit closer so you can actually see what I have in here. So this is my very messy drawer, and I'm not too sure where I want to get started. I think I'm gonna just pull everything out and then I can assess. I even have a bunch of just labels that are kind of free floating. Let's just pull everything out of here and then we can get organizing. So this is my mess. I think I've got a little bit of work to do here. So I'm hoping you can hear me from this distance. I'm a little too lazy to pull out my microphone and have to deal with that today. So I'm just gonna shout. I have some fiberfill. The extra bag is just because I had lent some to my neighbor, and then she went and bought some and gave it back to me. So I've got a couple bags of polyfill, and then I have quite a bit of like chenille kind of fuzzy blanket yarns. I have this gorgeous red one that I bought just because I like the color. I don't even have a project in mind for this, so I'll have to come up with something for that at some point. And then I have this brown one, and I had an off-white one somewhere. Oh, it got buried. This one, and these are the ones that I used for the unicorns that I made for my nieces, and I have a video of that on the channel if you want to check that out. I'm not even sure what this is from. Impeccable. This one? I have no idea. I was thinking maybe this one, but I don't actually know. And then, okay, this is blankets, so this belongs to this. And this is all of it. So I have this really soft, fuzzy pink yarn, and this I made a stuffed bunny for my partner's cousin's daughter. That was a couple of years ago now, so I still have a lot left over. So if you have any ideas for something to do with this, let me know. So I have a lot. I have a whole ball and then like a part one as well left over from the project. I have a different type of fuzzy yarn. So I've got this like beige and a very light gray. And I honestly don't remember what I used these for. These are pretty old. So I think that's all of my like kind of specialty fuzzy-ish yarns. So I think that can kind of be its own category. And then I think I'll move on to just kind of standard basic worsted weight acrylic, which is honestly most of what I have. So I have an almost full ball of black Bernat Super Value. I've had this forever. I mean, it's always good to have black yarn on hand, but I haven't really done much with that. So I have this, and then I have a part one as well. I'm not even sure when or where I acquired most of these, to be completely honest with you. So a lot of black yarn. I also have another like small ball, which I think I must have used for a project and then ripped it apart. I don't know why this would be separate otherwise. Random string, that can go away. So I picked up a couple recently. I have this kind of, I don't even know what you'd call this color, just like a spring green. Actually, what do they call it? Jade. I would think of jade as being a darker green, but I suppose it can be this light color. And then I got this gray kind of sagey green as well. I like to have green yarns on hand just because it's good for doing kind of like floral things. I've got my tutorial on crocheting wisteria, and I used green for the vine for that, and then some other floral things as well. So yeah, I like to have different shades of green. So I've got these. I also have parts of a very old ball of just kind of standard Kelly green. I think this is all I have left of this color. I have a little bit left of this kind of dusty rose pink color. I have this yellow green. I've kind of been using these for random projects lately just because I didn't have a whole lot. My yarn stash has been getting down. So I did go and buy some of this yarn recently just to stock up a little bit. What else do I have that's just acrylic? I've got a bit of red, and then I have some white. I have part of a project that I ripped apart that my cat had puked on at one point, so I've just kind of been avoiding that spot. I think I'll just toss the rest of that. It's not worth trying to clean. I don't think the stains will come out. I have some pieces that are just really tiny, and I've actually got a little bag just of remnants. And I think I should come up with some sort of project to use these up. I just don't have an idea at this point in time. So if you have any ideas for a small project that takes a lot of different colors, please leave that in the comments down below, because I'm at a loss for what to do with all these. And they're not even all the same weight. Most of it's worsted, but some of it's bulky. I think some of it's DK. So it's kind of a little bit of everything, and like totally different colors, a little bit of everything in there. So I think I have some bits here that I can stick in with that as well. I got like tiny bit of white, tiny bit of this light blue. There's just some random strings in here. A little bit of this kind of turquoisey color. And then I have tiny little bit left of this turquoise. Yeah, I'm down to kind of just some random stuff. And then from there, I think I'm gonna dig into this box. So I have, this is mostly projects that I've started and have not finished, but I will go over those after yarn is organized. So I have this bag, and it's half gone already because working on a project with it. But this is like sock yarn. It's very thin, but it's kind of got this interesting texture to it. I don't know if you'd call it slub because it's kind of more even than that, but yeah, it's this pretty pink color. And I've actually started another project with it too. Actually, this one I think I started first and then abandoned because it was taking forever. Oh, where's the end of this? Oh, that's attached. Okay. And that is another project. And then I have a bunch of bits of this kind of, I don't even know if you would call this variegated, but it's it's different colors. I don't know. This is left over from the butterfly wings that I made for my nieces last year. Again, I have a video on that on the channel, so I will leave it maybe as a card, and I can never remember which side of the screen it's on, so it'll be up here somewhere. This is kind of a pretty yarn I made. I think I used this for, I made like a mermaid tail, but it's like a lap blanket that you kind of put your legs into, again for one of my nieces, but that was, oh, I don't even know, 5-6 years ago now maybe. So there's that. And then I have a little bit of just this kind of bulky weight pink. So I've been using this for my basic crochet tutorials just because I figured it was good for demonstrating, because it's easier to see than some other yarns might be. And lastly in here, I have a bag, and again, this is like, I think this is a fingering or sock weight yarn, and I believe it's a bamboo viscose. It's very smooth and soft, and I've got a rather large project, so again, I will talk about that when I go over my whips. Okay, so that cleans out this guy, aside from I have a pom-pom magazine in here, and then just a free pattern that I picked up at Michael's. And beyond that, I've got kind of a mishmash of stuff here. I've got this dark green yarn that I used for the headband that I knitted. Again, video link up here somewhere. It was kind of a fail, so I think I might try to remake that one. But considering it's now the end of March, I'm not really going to need a headband, so I might save that till fall. So I'll just set this aside for now and plan on that for a few months from now. This one I would definitely call a slub. It's quite thin for the most part, but then it'll have these kind of thick sections. I don't think I've ever used this for anything, and I think this had been in my mom's stash of yarn, and I stole it from her at some point intending to do something with it, and then I never did. So still don't know what to do with it. I've got this, which I think must be a bulky weight. It's definitely thicker than a worsted. It's this nice kind of gray blue color. It does feel rather scratchy though, so I'm not sure what the fiber content is. It looks like acrylic, but it's maybe just really old and they hadn't figured out how to make it soft at that point. I don't know. I also have this, and this might have come from my grandmother. This is extremely old. I think I stole this from my mom's yarn stash too. And this is 100% acrylic, but again, it's really kind of like scratchy and not nice feeling. With it being this medium brown color, I think it'd be really cute as like a little teddy bear or something, some sort of amigurumi sort of thing. But yeah, look at that label. So vintage. I love it. Patton's Beehive Canadiana. And this one, again, I think is a bamboo. It's got that really soft kind of silky feel to it, and it's got a nice sheen as well. And I have a pair, actually I'm gonna grab them. So I have this pair of fingerless gloves that I made, I'm not even sure how long ago, at least 15 years, maybe even closer to 20. And honestly, I still wear them on occasion. They're great in the spring or fall. So this, oh, I just realized this actually isn't the same yarn, but I think this was the same type, because this is a lighter gray than this one. But I'm certain this was the same, like bamboo, same weight and everything. So anyway, there's that. I have a lot of green yarn. I'm just realizing that now. I've got this one that I think I used to make a fish hat for my nephew. I think I have a picture somewhere. I'll see if I can find it and put it in here. I'm pretty sure that's what I used this for. If I can't find a picture, it's basically a fish and the mouth is open, and that's what you wear as the hat. It was very cute. My nephew was, I don't know if he still is because this was a long time ago, but he was very into fishing. So yeah, and then more green. This one's more of like a teal. And then I have this kind of sagey one, but this one's actually cotton. This one, and then I have a hot pink cotton as well, which I find is not as easy to work with as an acrylic or a bamboo or even a wool, just because it doesn't slide as well. So I tend not to use cotton that often, but it is good for certain projects, especially if it's something that you're going to be washing a lot, because it doesn't really pill. I think this is the only cotton yarn I have. I have so many random little bits of things. No idea what I use this for. This is all I have left. Some project somewhere along the line, I don't know. Some purple. Again, this is a very soft one. I'm thinking this one might be bamboo as well. Dark gray wool, and this is DK weight. And this one's 100% wool, so it is a little bit scratchy. Some more random white that I think I had taken from that destroyed project that my cat puked on. And then I have this fuzzy black, random strings, which I think is another one I stole from my mom at some point. I've never used this for anything. And random orange string. Okay. So that I think is everything I have, more or less. This bag that is totally falling apart is full of projects that I have started and then abandoned. So I guess at this point I might as well go into my works in progress. So this I started as a project just to kind of use up the random yarn that I had. So like little balls like this where I have enough to like do a row, but not really enough to do any other projects. But yeah, I guess I got bored of it and didn't finish. I think I had intended to give it to a friend of mine when she moved into a new apartment, but that was, I don't know, like 10 years ago. And she's moved probably half a dozen times since then. Yeah, so I don't know. I might finish this at some point, but probably not anytime in the near future. The pattern for this, though, I found online, and somebody had seen, there was like a scene in Breaking Bad that was in their living room, and they had an Afghan on the back of their couch that had a pattern that looked like this. So somebody figured out what the pattern was and posted it online. So yeah, I had been following that. If you want to look that up and make this pattern yourself, it's really pretty. I like the kind of tile effect that it has, and I think it was fairly easy. I think it's mostly just triple crochets, so it works up relatively quickly. I just gave up on it. Honestly, I have no idea what this was supposed to be. Maybe a scarf? I don't know. I'll probably rip this apart at some point and reuse the yarn. Oh, I have more of this. Okay, I had a little bit of this and I wasn't sure what I had used it for, but apparently I haven't used it. So I have more of that one. I have an attempt here at making another pair of fingerless gloves. I made one and then gave up. Again, this was probably like around the same time that I made the other ones, so a very long time ago. This one has like a full thumb on it, though. The other one I just had like an opening on the side. Very emo. And another fingerless glove that does not have a partner. I don't know why I was so into fingerless gloves. Yeah, this one's not as nice. This one is this lighter gray. That's funny. What else do I have here? I have no idea what this is. Maybe it was supposed to be a scarf? I don't know, it's stripy. I have like a 1x1 rib going into, what, a 3x1 rib? And then I have it just like strung on some wire. I think my thought process must have been, I don't want to work on this right now, but I want to use the needles for another project, so I'll put it on some wire and then use the needles for something else and then put the needles back on it when I go back to it, and then I never went back to it. I shake my head at myself sometimes. I'm so bad about starting new projects and then not finishing them. As evidenced by 2 single fingerless gloves. Why did I do this? Oh, I'm not even going to talk about this one. Oh, okay. Got a random makeshift cable needle, like I was talking about in my headband video. And then I guess another scarf that I started and never finished. And I don't have any of this red yarn anymore. I'm not sure if I have this gray yarn anymore either. Is this one? Oh, I do have some of this one. But I definitely don't have this red anymore. So that's never getting finished. I also just like left the end open, so kind of losing my stitches there. So those are some works in progress that I don't think are actually in progress. I think these are pretty much all abandoned. Maybe I'll go back to the Afghan at some point, but I kind of doubt it. I also need to just throw out this bag because that's like in pieces. I don't know why I'm keeping it like that. So this is probably a terrible angle and I've been shooting the whole video like this, so I apologize if you can't see anything. I will try to get close-up shots of stuff. I'm just feeling really lazy today and I don't want to have to move the camera around and set up an actual tripod. Ugh, okay. Whatever. Is anyone even going to watch this anyway? I have no idea. Okay, so works in progress that I might actually go back to. This one probably not. I think I'm probably just gonna rip this one out because I've started making another project with the same yarn that I'm probably gonna need all of it for. So this, I had bought this yarn, like super skinny fingering weight, to do a tank top that is from this Pom Pom magazine. It is called Reifel by Carlie Olfert, and it's very pretty. I will insert pictures here, but it's very tiny. It uses 2.75 millimeter needles, which is this. And it's all cables, which is a pain in the butt. So yeah, I got this far through and kind of gave up on it. So beautiful pattern. I don't have the patience for it. So I decided that instead of doing that, I would use the yarn to make a different top. And this one I'm crocheting rather than knitting. And I've started doing a video on it. I kind of just made up my own pattern. I started doing a video on it, but I started making this last spring, I think. And so far I've got one panel. So if I eventually finish this, there will be a video on the channel about it. So I will talk about it more then. So it's just alternating rows of double crochet and single crochet. And I'm just kind of doing this T shape. So this will be either the front or the back. And then I will connect it at the shoulders to do like a boat neck. And then I'm also going to have panels down each of the sides as well. So super simple construction. And it's actually pretty quick to do up to, like it's small and it's a very thin yarn, but I'm just keeping it super simple. So I don't even really have to think about the pattern. I can just kind of stitch it. But yeah, it's taking a while because I haven't picked it up in a bit because I've been working on other stuff. But hopefully I will eventually get that done and you can see the final product. Next up is this, which is a beanie. The intention is that the bottom will get folded up to make a brim. It's just a 1x1 rib. I can't remember what pattern I was using for this, but I will look that up and insert it here, maybe. I had started out making this with some leftover yarn that I already had. And this is a Patton's Classic Wool Worsted. And the color is Natural Mix. But I might have to give you a close-up on this. I don't know if you can see from there. But the color that I started with is much more of like a tan, kind of more brown leaning. And I didn't have as much as I thought I did, so I ran out. And then I ended up going and buying another one, same brand and everything, same color name, but I don't know if it's just a really off dye lot or if they've changed the color, because the one that I started with I bought a few years ago, and then when I bought this one it ended up being a lot more gray. I was looking through the colors in Michael's and I had overlooked this one initially because I thought it was a totally different color. And then I picked it up and I saw that the color name was the same. So I bought it hoping it was just the lighting was weird in the store. But no, it's a totally different color. I don't think it's such a big deal. I think it does sort of look intentional, being two-toned. So yeah, I don't have too much more to go on this. So I'm sure I will finish it at some point. But again, it's spring, so it's not a huge priority for me, because even if I do finish it, like, I'm not going to need a wool hat again until maybe October. So yeah, not my top priority, but I will finish it at some point. And then the last thing that I have here, again, I started years ago. I have a pattern here, which is several pages long. Here's the first page. Oh, right. Okay, so this is by Knitatude. So I got this on Etsy, and I think she's definitely Canadian. I think she's maybe from Alberta. But this pattern is called the Side Split Pullover. And it's just this like really kind of loose, floaty sweater. It's really simple. It's just in a stockinette, I believe, with some ribbing up the side and then on the sleeves and the hem. But again, it's this really thin yarn, so it's taken a while. I was knitting this like crazy for a while, and then I got to the point where I just had one sleeve left and I got really bored with it and put it away and then never picked it up again. This is like really oversized too, but yeah, super comfy. I'll maybe try this on. Put a shot in here so you can actually see what it looks like. Other than it being super wrinkly. But yeah, that's the last project that I have on the go. So this is where I'm at right now. I've got a bunch of ends to work in, obviously, and a whole sleeve to make. But it's super comfy and it's super long too, like it's almost a dress. But because it's in a bamboo, it's like this really kind of slinky feel to it. It's got a really nice drape. And I love this color. Unfortunately, it does look a little bit stripy. There's like darker stripes here. I think that's just a dye lot issue. I didn't check my dye lots when I bought my yarn. Actually, I think I might have bought the yarn online. So, oh well. Hopefully if you notice it at all, it looks intentional. But yeah, one more sleeve to go, weave in ends, and then I don't know if it even needs to be blocked, but I think steamed for sure, because it's been folded up in a bag for like 4 years or something. Anyway, that's my sweater. So I packed all of my works in progress back into the box, and now all I have to do is fill up this drawer again. So I'm going to try to do this in a way that makes sense. So it's still a little bit of a disaster. I think it's gonna kind of have to stay that way until I can get some sort of boxes or dividers or something. But I think this will work for now. So the only other thing that I have that needs to go in here are my needles and hooks. And then I will need to rip apart my abandoned projects at some point. I might as well reuse the yarn rather than just having it sitting there not being used. So then my needles are kind of a bit of a mess as well. I try to keep them in the packaging just to keep things organized. This one is the 2.75 needles that I'm using for that sweater. So those are in use right now, but then I have these. This one, I don't know what happened to the other one. I've had this set for a long time, but the other one went missing ages ago. So I think I'm just going to toss this one because these are the same size. They're both 15s. So I don't need a random one on its own that I can't actually use. So that can be tossed. That's for my 3mm hook that I use on a regular basis, so it's in the other room. I have this random pom-pom. It's on an elastic, but I actually bought a couple of them, and I used one of them as a pom-pom for a hat that I made. So I think the intention had been to make another hat and use this. I might put it on the kind of like beigey, browny, gray hat that I'm working on. Or I might just save that for another project. Not sure. Again, my makeshift cable needle. I have some random packages that don't have anything in them, but I think these are in use for another project. Some of these might have just gotten lost too. Oh well. Couple pairs of circular needles. Those ones are circular. These are double pointed. I think these are the ones that I'm using for the sweater. Or maybe I have them in the other room. I'm not sure. And then I have a bunch of random ones. Oh, yeah, that's my J hook. I have a bunch of random stuff that don't have packages. I think these are all pairs though, at least. 9s, 6s. What are these? 3, 6. That must be millimeters. I have some double pointed needles, but I'm not even sure what size these are. Oh, there's my 3mm crochet hook. This can go in here. But I will do that later because I'm holding the camera with my other hand right now. So that's what I have for crochet hooks and knitting needles, aside from the ones that I have in my projects. So for the most part, I keep them just kind of in the side of the drawer, but again, they're just loose and they kind of roll around. So I was thinking, and I might do a separate video on this, I was thinking I would sew kind of a case for all of my hooks and needles, just so that they're all in the same place, and then I can just open it up, pull out what I need, and then put it away, and everything kind of stays together and tidy. And then I don't have to have all of these random packages either. Yeah, so that's on my to-do list. And I think that's where I'll leave this video for today. Let me know if you like this kind of vloggy style. I haven't done any videos like this recently. I've been focusing more on projects and tutorials and that kind of thing, because those seem to do fairly well on the channel. but I figure it doesn't hurt to switch things up every once in a while. If you have any ideas for me for how to help my organization, please let me know. And also let me know down in the comments what projects you're working on, if they're knitting or crochet, or anything else really. So if you did like the video, please give it a like, hit that thumbs up down there, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you again soon. Bye.